Good morning and welcome to Gentex Multimedia Livecast for Thursday 15th of October from beautiful Brisbane in Australia. Long queues have started to form for testing in Shepparton, which is in regional Victoria, after an affected truckie visited the state, and it has now recorded 6 new cases today with no new deaths. New South Wales is on high alert after a case spike, and there are fresh virus fears in Queensland after a Melbourneian woman travelled to the state and tested positive. Meanwhile, the race for US election continues, and Donald Trump and Joe Biden to hold separate events at the same day. And today, former MP Daryl Maguire will face ICAC again. So follow Australian Indian Radio throughout the day for key breaking news, developments, coronavirus updates and live streams from Australia and from around the world. Top stories for today. Just 6 new coronavirus cases emerge in Victoria with no further deaths. Daniel Andrews' Melbourne office graffitied, and queues begin in testing in Shepparton, Victoria after the outbreak sparked by the truckie. And France has announced curfew on 8 cities as the cases climb. And today we'll bring to you a update interview on travelling to and from India with Tanvi Goyal from Oz India Travel. That and much more. But first, let's take a very quick look at the weather for today with Dilraj Dhillon.
Good morning everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 27 degree. Brisbane area is partly cloudy with 30% chances of rain in the late morning. The afternoons will be mostly sunny. Light winds becoming easterly 15 to 25 km per hour in the morning and then becoming light in the evening. Fire danger is high. Sun protection is recommended till 3 p.m. and UV index is predicted to reach 9, that is very high. Till tomorrow, stay safe and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Dilraj. And right now, let's go and look at the top headlines for today before we get into the news for today.
The largest states are scrambling to contain coronavirus outbreaks this morning. Testing sites have been overwhelmed in the regional Victorian city of Shepparton after it recorded 3 COVID cases. And health officials in Sydney are investigating several locally acquired cases, prompting the state's premier to warn New South Wales is on the verge of a so-called seeding event. And the New South Wales Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, has survived 2 no-confidence motions in state parliament as the fallout over her relationship with disgraced MP Daryl Maguire continues. The former Liberal MP will face a second day of questioning today at the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Yesterday, he admitted to receiving a bundle of cash and pocketing thousands of dollars at his parliamentary office while operating a cash for visas scam. A new report has shed light on the massive impact the pandemic is having on Australian renters. The Australian Housing and Urban Research Institute has surveyed 15,000 renting households. It's found 1/3 of renters aren't sure how they'll continue to pay rent without government support. 1/3 have needed a rent reduction and just over 5% have received an eviction notice. And the French President Emmanuel Macron says nightly curfews will be imposed in Paris and other major cities to help limit the spread of COVID. The curfews will take effect from Saturday. They'll run daily from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. over a period of 4 weeks.
So that's the headlines for today, courtesy of ABC. Well, right now, let's go to Melbourne first before we get into the rest of the news for today and look at the report from Melbourne as Premier Daniel Andrews joins us with that update.
This matter's been referred to Victoria Police. They're the ones who make judgments about what should be fined. That is to say, it's gone to the compliance unit within DHHS, and they'll provide further information to Victoria Police, and then they can make their own judgments. I just want to be really clear with people. You don't get in trouble if you tell the full story. You potentially do get into trouble if you don't. And by trouble, I'm not just talking about a fine, but there are infections in Shepparton today that we know of, and there's almost certainly going to be more, that were all completely preventable if this individual had told the full story. He wouldn't have got into trouble for telling the whole story. It's only when you don't that we all have problems. We all have a challenge that's greater than it should be. We can't change that. That's why we're focused, night and day to get everybody in Shepparton that needs to be tested, and then to put an appropriate response around those people and to pull this up as quickly as possible. But the message today, Victoria Police will deal with that. It's not for politicians to be doing that work. Victoria Police should. But I just want to reconfirm for everybody, there's no stigma or shame in getting this thing. It doesn't discriminate. But what people can't do equally is discriminate in what they tell us. They have to tell people the full story.
You have to tell the full story, and I couldn't agree more. Of course, look at what happens to everyone else then around you if you try and do that. So as we have seen in many cases here in Queensland and other places, that it's the irresponsible action of few which cost the livelihood, and so much it impacts so many different people's life. There's so much that people have planned. There's so many things that are going one way, but just because of the irresponsible action of few people within the community, it all goes out the window. Well, Shepparton, where we're talking about, where the Premier was mentioning, the residents there were turned away at the COVID-19 testing due to the overwhelming queue. They're all coming in lines because everyone trying to do the right thing. They're trying to get tested. So let's take a look at Shepparton and look at those lines there.
Police have just said that a little while ago that it might be 6 hours wait.
It's pretty crazy, but it's good that the communities came down and everyone's going to get tested and doing the right thing. So it's a good sign.
Yeah, at least people take it serious and getting the test done, which is the most important thing, I guess. It's created a fair bit of mayhem with one person, so the concern is if people aren't getting tested like we are today, it could spread even further in a community.
So long queues there, as you have seen, and that's Shepparton. Well, what's the Chief Health Officer Brett Sutton has to say about this? So let's hear from Brett Sutton.
In terms of getting all of that information, if there's any doubt about the full account that people are giving, there are powers in the Public Health and Wellbeing Act for me to request information, demand information for the purpose of assessing a public health risk, and I'll absolutely consider that in circumstances where that might not be forthcoming.
Humans are fallible.
And as he has mentioned that he will use his powers to access personal data if needed during the tracing. Well, next news, of course, we have all had the news about New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian, as she says, holding off or easing further restrictions. So let's go to New South Wales now.
Our state is on the verge of being where it was when we had the first seeding incident from Victoria. And I want to be very clear about this. There are a number of locations in southwestern Sydney, a number of people who need to come forward and get tested, and it's really important for everybody to note the information that Dr. Chant is going to give. I will also say that yesterday we announced the easing of restrictions in relation to outdoor hospitality venues to 2 square metres instead of 4, and we still think that is a prudent decision. However, I do also want to say that today the government was intending to announce further easing of restrictions in hospitality.
So there'll be further easing of restrictions because the confirmed cases there are 13 and 11 of which were locally acquired. Well, of course, that's what the Premier is doing out there on the roads and out in the community and in the public. What's happening in the Parliament House itself? Well, and there was a heated debate with the opposition over the class for the corruption allegation. Let's take a look at that report and let's go to the New South Wales Parliament.
You were caught on tape telling Darryl Maguire you didn't need to know that bit, when informed he would earn a secret commission from a property deal. Why wouldn't you want to know about this corruption in your government?
Premier.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, the Leader of the Opposition is making a statement that is the subject of an inquiry, and she should be careful. And she should be careful with her words. And I
think he admitted corruption this morning. I think that's kind of a given now.
But yes.
Order.
But Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition has just misled the House because she's conflated an admission to something else that was asked.
Oh, you're going to defend him again? Let's defend him again.
Order.
So, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, I say to the Leader of the Opposition, stick to the facts, stick to what is real, and also note that there is nothing wrong that I have done or ever have done or ever will do.
So there you go, strong and very heated moments there at the Parliament House, and the Speaker's got a tough job. They're trying to keep all the politicians in line. As the Premier says, she is denied doing anything wrong, as Daryl Maguire fronts the Independent Commission Against Corruption as well.
Can I say this? And with all due respect, I've answered every question I've been asked the last few days. I've been very open about issues that are very uncomfortable to me, issues I don't talk about. But I will say this, every day that I'm in this job, I am here for the people of this state. Never ever have I done anything wrong in relation to my position. Never ever have I tolerated anybody else doing anything wrong. And if I ever saw it or witnessed it or knew about it, of course I would have taken action. But I say this to the people of New South Wales, can I thank you? I have been honestly overwhelmed and sustained by the support the people of this state have shown me in the last few days, and I will repay that by continuing to work for you, to be your #1 advocate, to keep you safe, to keep you employed. That is my job. It is my honour and privilege to do it every day that I come to work. And my message, excuse me, let me finish. Let me finish, okay? I've given you your turn for the last 3 days, let me finish. And I say to the people of this great state, you elected me, you deserve me to be focused on you, you deserve for me to be focused on the issues that matter to you, and that is exactly what I will do. I know the people of this state know that I've done nothing wrong. I never have and I never will. And I appreciate the questions you all need to ask, and I've answered them in full detail over the course of a number of days. But you also have to respect my position as Premier and let me do my job.
And let me do my job, as she records, as she says. And of course, many times people do interject and don't let anyone finish what they're saying. But, the person in question is Daryl Maguire, and he admits that he used his parliamentary office for private business. Here's that report.
Joining me now are Anne Davies from The Guardian and Michael Yabsley, former New South Wales Liberal Minister. Anne Davies, in a nutshell, what were the most significant revelations at ICAC today?
Well, basically, Daryl Maguire, the former member for Wagga Wagga, made a whole lot of admissions. He agreed with Councillor Sisting that he'd really attempted to monetise his parliamentary office, and that he'd had a company called Gateway International, which he hadn't declared his interest in. It was actually held through a secret shareholding. And using that company, he used his position in Parliament to try and broker all these deals, things from car washes to coal mines to property developments. So there was really a huge amount of admissions this morning.
Did any of it directly implicate the Premier in any wrongdoing?
No, well, the Premier only got mentioned once at the very end of the day, where they talked about a meeting that Daryl Maguire had tried to set up for a property developer friend of his. He'd gone to the Planning Minister and to Gladys Berejiklian, and they'd both refused to meet with him.
Michael Yabsley, even though there hasn't been any direct evidence of wrongdoing by the Premier, how problematic is it for her that Daryl Maguire was sacked in 2018 for alleged misconduct, and yet the Premier kept associating with him?
Lee, I think by any estimation, it's a serious problem for the Premier.
So whenever we look at a situation like that, of course, the journalists who are interviewing people will always take an angle and would sort of frame the questions around that way. We will look at a report which has come out of China towards the end of the show today, where they talk about such allegations about Australian journalists, presenters, radio presenters and TV anchors, and that they are given a way of questioning an angle that they need to take. So, where is the freedom of press there? Well, right now we go into the lead story for today, and as I mentioned before, that today we're going to be talking about travelling under the current conditions to and from India. And with that, we'd like to go to that interview, and we will be joined in the studios via our link with Tanvi Goyal from Oz India Travel. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we know, in these days and times, we have always been talking about so many things that are happening within our community. And of course, we have a lot of our Indian students here as well, and everyone under the COVID-19 situations and with the travel restrictions are unable to travel, to India, to other countries. And today we are very fortunate to have the services and expertise of Tanvi Goyal, who is from Oz India Travel, and she joins us to give us an insight into what can be done and what can't be done. So welcome to the show, Tanvi.
Thank you so much, Umeshji, for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. Namaste, Sasyakal, Kemcho. I hope you all are safe and sound. So thank you for listening to us on Australian Indian Radio.
And thank you very much for once again joining us. So please, before we go any further, Tanvi, I think we need to have a disclaimer that whatever we are presenting today is for general information, and that people will need to check their personal circumstances before they make their final decisions.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so now if, we've received many calls here as well, and many people are eager, to find out that what can be done. Even, I've arranged some people's connections with the Indian consulate as well. But at this time, can people fly to India?
Yes, Umeshji, mostly everyone can fly. However, there are some extra documents required, especially if you are PR or Australian citizen.
So what are these documents? What's required?
Okay, so basically, Umeshji, if someone is Indian citizen on visitor visa or temporary visa, they can just go straight. They can just book the flight and go. But if you are permanent resident, you have to apply the exemption to travel from Home Affairs website. Or if you are citizen, then you need extra documents. So you need the exemption to travel, same as PR, and also you need OCI. So in some cases, if you don't have OCI, then you would need an emergency visa to fly.
Okay, so we've talked about the citizens, we've talked about the OCI card. What would happen to a tourist if someone wants to go on a tourist or business visa?
Okay, so you mean the tourist visa to India?
Yes.
Right. So for that you need to talk to Indian High Commission, and they will advise you based on your circumstances. We have few passengers who have applied on emergency visa based on the medical reasons, or there's some unfortunate death in family. So I will advise you further when we go in the how to apply that. But yes, you have to check with the Indian High Commission, and they will advise you whether based on your circumstances you can apply for emergency visa or not.
Oh, that's a very good suggestion there as well. So when we were talking about, the exemption, how do people go to, get this exemption? How do they apply for this exemption?
Exemption. Okay. So, Umeshji, just to give you a bit of idea, everyone who are listening. So before 24th of August, it was really easy that you just go on Home Affairs website and apply it. They were not even asking for much documentation. But after 24th of August, there are mainly two reasons, Umeshji, which we are, watching people getting approval. So one is the medical reason. So it can be like if someone sick themselves, or if there is their family or especially parents are sick, then they can apply. Or if there is any unfortunate death in family. Now, I just want to inform everyone listening to us, so what they have to do basically, because we have some instances where people have put so many documents and they got rejected recently. So I would recommend everyone, if you're applying for exemption to travel, just put the main documentation. So mainly what they want you to apply is to put the document is, one is the reason. So the reason can be a medical certificate or the death certificate, and second, the relationship. So whatever relationship you have with that person, mainly those who are going for parents, or themselves, they are getting approved. But in case if you are going for your sister or your brother, you can attach their passport copy and your passport copy, which will mention that you both have the same parents, and then you can attach the reason with that. So this is really very, very important. And you can go on basically Home Affairs website. So I'll share with you a link as well, which is www.covid19.homeaffairs.gov.au/leaving-Australia. So if you even type on Google Leaving Australia, you should be able to get that link. But this is exactly the place where you go and you can apply the exemption to travel. So it's very easy.
Oh, that's wonderful. And we will share that website and that web address with all our viewers and listeners. So can we fly with existing India visa?
Okay, so Umeshji, no, you can't. So if someone got the Indian visa before March 2020, that visa is not valid anymore. So if you want to go India now and you don't have OCI or you don't have Indian passport, then you have to apply for the emergency visa and you have to contact the Indian High Commission for that first.
Okay, so how does one go about, getting an Indian emergency visa?
Okay, so for Indian emergency visa, there is a procedure. First of all, we don't provide the visa services, but we can inform you how our other passengers received it. So basically, there is a procedure to follow. So first of all, you have to contact Indian High Commission. Well, I'll tell you the website of Indian High Commission, where they have also mentioned the main contact details for COVID-19, where you can contact, where you can call them or you can email them. So website is www.hcicanberra.gov.in. If you go on that page, on that website, you will get all the contact numbers and email IDs. And then you just call them on these numbers. First thing. Second, they will inform the VFS what needs to be done. They will advise you, first of all, whether you will get the emergency visa or not. And then you have to go to the VFS. You can go to VFS if, for instance, if you're in Brisbane, there is an office in city already in VFS. So you can go to the VFS and ask them that you want to apply for emergency visa. As per my information, they are charging you close to $200. It may change as well. And you have to leave your passport with them, the original passport. Okay, so by leaving that, they will put the stamp on that passport. They have to send that passport to Canberra, and majority of cases you get that passport back in your mail within 2 to 10 business days. So it depends how many days you are looking for. So if you apply for the emergency, then you might get it fast as well. So I heard so far someone got within 2-3 days as well. So you have to inform them when you apply that you want to have it fast or you are okay with 10 business days, Umeshji.
So that's a very, very good information, very useful information to a lot of our listeners and everyone. Now, what about quarantine, because we know that anyone coming in here has to go and be under quarantine. So what's the quarantine situation or conditions if someone's traveling to India?
Okay, so Umeshji, I would say it's a really good news for everyone who are flying to India now. So there was a new rule came in effect on 8th of August. So according to that rule, if you are traveling to India and you do COVID test 96 hours prior to your international flight, then you can apply for the Air Suvidha exemption form. So you can apply that online, which has to be done maximum 72 hours prior to departure. That's just a special like New Delhi link is there where you just upload your COVID test report and you can apply the exemption. Generally, when you apply that exemption, they give you there's an auto mail comes to you saying you have applied, and then after some time you get another mail saying you have been accepted. So if you apply the exemption and do the COVID test, you can go home straight. So you don't have to do the home quarantine. It's a home quarantine if you go with the COVID test negative report and exemption.
Oh, that's wonderful news. So where do people go to get COVID test, and what are the procedures then?
Okay, so Misty, everyone can go, basically you can go anywhere, any of the centers around whoever is doing the COVID test. But I'll definitely recommend everyone of you to call them before you go, because I heard from some passenger that they were charged. So majority of my passenger, I would say 99% of the people haven't paid anything. But I heard from some passenger that they paid as well, and it was a last minute shock to them that, why do they have to pay? And then they don't have enough time to go to the other places and do it. So I'll highly recommend you to call those centers before you go. You can go to any center around you. And second thing, tell them when you go there that you have a flight within 96 hours, you have international flight, and you need your test within 24 hours or so. And I just want to mention one more thing here. So not every center giving you a report like a physical report, because when you apply for the exemption, you have to upload a report. So in case they don't give you a report, generally all the centers are sending you SMS, Umeshi, where they just say, your COVID test is negative. So if that happens, what you have to do is you have to go to the GP. You can go to any GP around you or the hospital, and you have to tell them that you need a letter because you are flying to India, and that is one of the procedure. Now there are 4 very, very important points, everyone, which you have to make sure that it's in your report in order to get you the exemption. So one, Umeshji, is a passport name as per the so name should be as per the passport in that report. Date of birth should be there. That should be as per passport as well. Make sure the GP has written the when and what time the test was done, and also the COVID test is negative. So these 4 points are very, very important. If you don't have that in order, then your exemption can be rejected as well, Umeshji.
Once again, that's all very, very useful information. I'm sure that will come very handy for anyone who's planning to travel at this point in time. So is there any other forms that need to be filled? Because this seems okay, it's doable, but are there any other forms that might be required?
Yeah, yes, Umeshji, there are some more formalities to be done, which are mandatory 72 hours prior to departure. So mainly, they say that it should be 72, but let me just mention one thing here. It's practically not really possible that you can do always 72 hours. So I know few passengers who have done a little bit before as well. However, it's subject to the officials, whether they agree, but you have to definitely do it before you depart. So there are mainly 4 things needs to be done before you fly. That is mandatory. One is the Air Suvidha self-reporting form. That is mandatory. And that form you can get on, I'll tell you a website as well. So that's www.newdelhiairport.in and then /Air Suvidha /APHO registration. So if you go on that link, you can apply, you can fill that self-reporting form. So basically what it is, Umeshji, is basically you are reporting to Indian government that you are coming to India. So here, don't worry about it because it says that you have to do a mandatory quarantine for 7 days or 14 days. But because it's a mandatory form, and anyone who is not doing a COVID test, they have to go through the institutional quarantine. So they mentioned that, but don't worry about it because the next form is the exemption form, which we already discussed in the COVID procedure as well. So exactly the same form where you have to upload the COVID test, and I'll tell you a link as well. So it's on the same website, newdelhiairport.in, then /Air Suvidha /COVID-19 exemption international passenger. So if you go on the same website, you have to upload your COVID test report and you can apply for the exemption. So this is also mandatory. Third thing is Arogya Setu app. So that app, they say it's mandatory as well. However, I know some passengers previously who could not install it because, we have old passengers mainly, Umeshji, going. We have our mother and fathers and they don't know how to use phone. So in that case, just try to install it on your phone, or maybe, if you have a son or daughter, if they can install it, and you can tell them when you reach to the airport. But this is one of the mandatory thing as well. And fourth is the India arrival immigration form. So generally this form you can get in flight as well, or once you reach India. But we generally recommend everyone to do it before you go. So, your parents don't have to do anything. So you fill all the form and everything to them. All they have to do is when they check in, they have to write their seat number in that form, but they are all good to go. So everything is already filled up before they go. So these 4 things are really important, Umeshji, before they go.
So those are very important forms there. So Air Suvidha self-reporting, then Air Suvidha exemption request, then the Arogya Setu. And you know, we do the news every day and we keep hearing that message that agar abhi tak aapne ye app download nahi kiya to aap kar lijiye, you know. So that message we have been listening you know, in the news daily that we do. So our news goes to air at about 7 every morning. So what options do we have to fly to India now? Maybe say from Brisbane, Melbourne or Sydney. So which of the three would be the best?
Okay, so basically, Mr. I just want to clarify one thing first, that right now there is no commercial flight happening. So, so all reputation flights are going. So when we talk about reputation flight, either they can be Vande Bharat mission flights, which majority of us know, that's Air India. Second, it can be Emirates. So Emirates is also reputation flight. And third is a charter flight. So charter flight can be of any airlines. It can be Malaysian Airlines, Sri Lankan Airlines, Scoot Airlines, even Malindo Airlines, depending on the charter organizer. Now, let's start with the Brisbane first, that what Brisbane people have option right now. So from Brisbane, I would recommend two best options. So one is we have a flight going on 5th of November. That's really amazing opportunity for everyone who want to go easily and want to send their parents without any hassles, because this particular flight will depart straight from Brisbane. They can drop their parents as well at the airport, and flight departs 3 p.m. and it has got only 1 hour refueling halt, which means they don't have to change plane in Singapore. They just reach straight to Delhi, which will reach there 12:45 a.m. So that's a direct around 14 hours halt with just a refueling. And then that same charter we are connecting to Pan India as well. We are connecting to every city in India. So for example, if someone has to go to Ahmedabad or Amritsar or Hyderabad or Bangalore, Chennai, you just name it, we can connect this charter to anyone, to any city in India. And fare wise, it's not too bad as well. So fare starts $14.65 if someone going Brisbane to Delhi, and if you're going to Ahmedabad or other cities, it's a maximum $16.95, including your baggage 30 plus 7. Or if you're going till 30 plus 3, sorry. In case of Scoot, is giving you hand luggage 3 kilos, but yeah, baggage is included as well in this one. And second, as I mentioned before, if you want, you can go for Vande Bharat mission flights or Emirates as well. But Vande Bharat mission flights is mainly going from Sydney. So anyone who is flying from Brisbane, I don't recommend that option. There's a reason behind it, because Air India flies mainly 10 o'clock in the morning from Sydney and reaching Delhi 6 p.m. What it means is someone who is going from Brisbane, they cannot go the same day. They have to go one day before, stay in airport. They can't stay actually at airport. They have to stay in hotel. And then they catch the flight 10 o'clock, first thing. Second, if they are not from Delhi and going to other cities in India, they again can't go the same day. So they reach Delhi at 6 o'clock, then they have to stay again overnight in Delhi airport or Delhi nearby hotel, and then they catch the next flight. So from people from Brisbane, I'm not recommending you to take this, because that way it's very much hassle, and you have to stay 2 nights in hotel or airport, then you reach home. So my second best option I would recommend you is Emirates. So Emirates, what's the best benefit with Emirates, is someone can check in the luggage at Brisbane airport and get to the final destination. So you don't have to do with anything, you don't have to pick the luggage again. The only problem, the only thing with Emirates is it's going with a very longer haul to up to 22 hours. In Dubai. So for that, we have also arranged the hotel at the terminal itself, which means you just come out of your plane and then you stay there in the hotel at the terminal itself. That's a Dubai International Hotel. And then you come back again. Now, I just want to mention one thing here, because we receive a lot of calls from people saying, their parents are very old. How can they stay at airport or hotel for 22 hours, whether they have any facility? Now, for parents, Umeshji, a good news is parents can take a wheelchair assistance, which we can provide. And the wheelchair person, we have taken actually a lot of feedback from other passengers. They told us that if you take a wheelchair, the person is taking you from the aircraft, dropping you to the hotel terminal, hotel who is at the terminal, and then pick you back again from the hotel and dropping you to the gate, which means they don't have to worry about it. They will have the full assistance. And when they reach, for example, someone going Brisbane to Chennai, they can check in at Brisbane, They stay 22 hours in a Dubai hotel, and then they get their baggage straight at Chennai, and then they go from there. So it's really good option for anyone going from Brisbane. That's the second option. Also want to tell you about the Sydney and Melbourne. So basically we have all the charters, all the flights flying from Australia to India, Umesh. So from Sydney we have let's say charter on 29th October. We have charter from Melbourne of 1st of November as well. These are the direct charters from Melbourne to Delhi or Sydney to Delhi. And then you can take, we can connect you to the other cities as well. And if someone, can't fly on those dates and not happy with 22 hours, we can definitely connect them to those charters as well.
Wow. Okay, so that's quite a lot of information. I mean, what about the tickets? If people are, people want to book the tickets, how do they go about that?
Okay, so I'll tell you the step-by-step process, because I think everyone feel it's so confusing what to do. So what I did was I have just created a step-by-step process for everyone who may stay. So very first step is you have to send us the passport. You have to basically decide which flight you want to go for. We send you email with all the details, and then the second step is you have to send us a passport copy, visa copy, or in case you are PR Australian citizen, you can send us the exemption report, which you can send later as well. But to start with, you have to send us a passport copy, visa copy, the emergency contact numbers in case emergency arises, and then a deposit. So deposit can be somewhere $100 to $200 depending on the flight you have chosen. And if you take Emirates or Air India, any other repatriation flight, not charters, you have to pay full as well at the time of booking. Now, third step is you have to pay the balance. If you're going for charter, you have to pay the balance, and you will be getting emails saying the flight is confirmed. Then the third step is you will receive a domestic flight in case you're not going to Delhi, or your flight is like if you're not going to Delhi, going to Hyderabad or some other places. If there's a domestic flight involved, then you will get that ticket. Step number 4 is you have to do a COVID test, maximum 96 hours prior to departure. You will be getting updates about that as well. Step 5 is you have to fill the remaining forms, which we already discussed, the 72 hours form, exemption form, or a self-reporting, etc. And then step 6 is you receive your final international flight ticket 24 to 48 hours prior to departure. So these are the main 6 steps how your booking goes when you book any charter flight at this stage, Umesh.
Wow, that's quite the few steps involved there, and I'm glad that you put them out step by step. We all got so used to just booking a flight today and jumping on the flight tomorrow and just going through all these steps remind me of the olden days when, you had to apply for visas, wait, and then go somewhere and get a ticket. Wow. So are there any options to book flights from India to Australia as well? Coming back the other way.
Okay, so maybe that's really a really tough question, I would say. And first of all, I would say, everyone, if it's not really urgent for you, please don't go because you might get stuck for a while. But Umesh, I would say there's a good news as well, which we heard, like there were a few notifications last week where seems Australian government is planning to bring Aussies back. They are planning some flights as well. So hopefully there should be something coming up next month or maximum by January. However, again, just think before you go. Now, I'll tell you what options available now and what people can do if they're stuck in India, Umesh. So very first thing, I would recommend everyone to register yourself with the Australian High Commission Delhi, so you will get the updates. So it's just an online website, Umesh, where people can register and they will get the updates about all the flights coming from India to Australia. Second thing, if they want to book, then they can only book the Vande Bharat mission flights at this stage, Umesh, which they have to book yourself. We are not getting any information that we can book. And third is we are still optimistic. Some of our partners have applied for the charters from India. As soon as we get approval, we should be able to book for you. But really, at this stage, there is nothing we can book. And fourth is, Umesh, we are taking expression of interest as well from people who wants to come back. So if you send us the passport copy and the details, which state you want to come and what are your circumstances and which city you are stuck, If you send us email to my email ID, so that is Tanvi, TANVR @ausindiatravel.com.au. And so we will contact you when everything becomes available. We also recommend everyone to check our page, which is www.facebook.com/AusIndiaTravel, because we always keep sharing, Umesh, whatever new thing is coming. And also we have created 2 different groups where we are trying to help everyone. So why we have created 2 groups, Umesh, so people don't get confused. So we have one group called Indians Stuck in Australia. So anyone who are stuck in Australia can you join that group. So you have updates, what's happening, and you can even club with other people as well, and you know other people, what they are doing and how things are. And the second group is Australian Stuck in India. So if you are stuck in India, you can join that group, and with that group you will have information that what's happening, which flights are available, what calls needs to be done. So yeah, this is what I would recommend at this stage, Umesh.
Wow, that's quite a lot of information there. Of course, like you mentioned, that unless it is absolutely necessary, stay put. But, if you do need to travel under the, the compassionate and compelling reasons, there are ways and means, and there are steps to follow. And of course, everyone should look into those steps before we, jumping on board. So, so that you have all the things, and that you now. Just before I let you go, what about cancellations? Have any flights been cancelled? Because I've had some people saying, that they booked and then their flights got cancelled.
Okay, so Umesh, in starting when the Emirates started the repatriation flights, that time we heard few flights were cancelled. I literally heard hardly a couple of flights of Emirates got cancelled. I would say the reason being, not many people knew that the Emirates is flying, and they were not confident in the beginning. But after that, you will be surprised that Emirates for the October, it's already sold out for economy. The next fare up is just $6,000 a business class. So after that, I didn't hear any Emirates flight got cancelled. And second, the cancellation about the the Vande Bharat mission flight to Air India, I didn't hear any of those flights got cancelled at all so far. And third is the charter flights operating. So most of the charter flights also operating. In the worst case scenario, sometimes they just reschedule flights a little bit here and there. But there is a clause, in case charter flights cancels completely, they give you full refund back. Amazing.
Oh, so that's good. As long as there's that provision there for the refund. As you know what people are like, they talk about all kinds of things. So, but it's been wonderful that, you have shared so much information with us. And now I think just for the interest of the listeners and viewers, I think we should provide this updates on a regular basis, because things will change. What is correct today, it might, from time to time they will change. So I think we might look at, a regular update, maybe on a weekly basis or something like that. Whatever, or whenever there are major changes that are announced, I think that would be very helpful to all our listeners. Now, so just before I let you go, if people need some more information about any of the discussed topics or about booking any flights, where and how can they reach you?
Okay, so Umesh, if someone has any questions, they can call me at 040-440-3264. So I'll repeat again, 040-440-3264. Or they can email me at Tanvi, so Tango Alpha November Victor India, Tanvi at ausindiatravel.com.au. They can reach us at Facebook as well, or there are some other modes available on our website. They can apply for the callback option, or they can call a 1300 number, 07 numbers. Everything is available on our website, www.ausindiatravel.com.au. So it's www.ausindiatravel.com.au. So yeah, if you have any question, you can always contact us. Just want to mention one more thing here, Umesh, quite interesting. So guys, if you have been booked elsewhere, so I'm very, very proud to say that it's just not the passenger who are booking with us. We are helping anyone booking anywhere, Umesh. So every day we're receiving calls. In last 1 week also, we have helped more than 100 passengers who have booked with someone else, but they weren't very confused at what they have to do, how to do the COVID test, and how to fill those forms and everything. So even if you have booked elsewhere, don't worry about it. We don't charge you anything. There is not even a single cent charge. You can still contact us and we are happy to help you. And for other flights as well, so Umesh, any charters we are doing in Australia, we're not charging anyone anything. It's whatever the price the charter companies are giving, we are charging the same thing. There is no service fees basically involved, and we're trying to help everyone maximum possible. And just one more thing, we have on our Facebook page, Umesh, we have created some videos as well for you all. So if you want to know all about COVID tests, whatever we discussed, it's on our Facebook page as well. You just click on COVID tests. You can see that video which explains you everything about COVID tests. And I got another video about the 72 hours prior to departure formalities, the one which we just discussed. We have that video as well. So it's just not by the callings or emails. We are trying to give you maximum information possible by videos or calls. So if you have anything, guys, feel free to call. It doesn't matter you booked with us or not. This is a time where we all have to come together as a community. We all are Indians. It's not even Indians. If you have anyone from different countries, we all should come together and make sure that, everyone is happy and, that we can help them every way we can. So yes, Umesh, definitely happy to help. Anything anyone have related to travel, always.
Thank you very much. As you mentioned, we are all humans first, so really appreciate that you helping people regardless of where they have booked in from. So that's the community spirit. Really commend you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another community service session where we have shared all this information, which might be of very interest and very timely, because just a while back there was not that many flights going, but now that it has slowly eased and started, and there are no cancellations, or very few, if any. So if you need any further information, please. So Tanvi, once again, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing this information with us.
Thank you so much, Umesh ji, for having us in the studio. Thank you so much, Australian Indian Radio, and thank you all very much, all the listeners. We are always there to help you. So God bless you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Stay safe.
And thank you very much for all the comments that have been coming on the live one there as well. Really appreciate it, and I think that was a very timely and very, very useful information there.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And ladies and gentlemen, a message there from our sponsors. Well, right now, let's take a look at the functions and events taking place in and around Brisbane. But don't forget that a lot of these functions would be taking place virtually. And of course, do check in with the event organizers before you commit to any of the events, because some of the ones are partially happening in person, so there will be few people who will be at the events and the rest of will be happening virtually. So please do double check. And a lot of functions have started taking place once again, but as I mentioned before, that you really need to be careful about whether you will be attending in person or virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, up to date on Australian Indian Radio and Brisbane Indian Times, or the Gentex Multimedia presentation update for this 15th of October. 15th already, half the month's already gone. October's gone, the E is gone. Whatever happened to 2020? Well, right now it's time to say goodbye, and until tomorrow, we will make sure that you enjoy the day, but most important, remain safe. We'll see you tomorrow.